Hi Aries, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jolene with Joey Star Astrology. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Welcome to your Gemini season 2022 horoscope. We're going to get into the chart here in a minute. But first, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscription button and like and share the video. I would really appreciate that. It helps me as I build the channel. So we have Gemini season, and Gemini energy is all about duality and communication and movement and learning. We have Mercury, of course, and as well as the Sun in Gemini, but Mercury is retrograde. I talked about that in a couple of videos prior. And you may have been feeling some of those Mercury retrograde things coming back for Aries rising. Mercury is in your third house, so that is the house of communication and the mind, learning, short trips, extended relatives, siblings. With the Sun in there, there's a bigger focus on that, which is actually, I think, a good thing for Aries rising because of where the nodes are sitting and what you may have experienced or be experiencing as a result of these eclipses that we've just come out of, the first set of eclipses in the Taurus-Scorpio axis that we will be experiencing through the middle of June, or towards the end of, not June, rather July of 2023. So this Gemini season gives Aries rising the opportunity to address issues that have been coming up for them as a result potentially of these nodal transits, and especially this last eclipse. This eclipse, of course, hitting your money houses, the second and eighth house of anything you're bound to. You know, it can be self-value, and then how you interact in your intimate relationships. You know, what you are attached to or responsible to, and who you're working with, right? Whether that be karmically or in an intimate relationship. Significant place for Aries rising to be experiencing these eclipses. Could be earned income as well as debt. Very significant issues could be coming up for Aries rising, and it is tied into how you relate to the community, your friends, possibly acquaintances, groups, and organizations that you are involved in. Somehow that those affiliations is pushing you. The universe is asking you to take a look at how you manage those things. Is it affecting your lifestyle and, you know, your level of pleasure? Is it affecting your own self-esteem? Do you feel tied and bound to something that that is really causing you distress, or just, you know, holding you back in your life some way? Are your debts, you know, in terms of your earned income versus what you owe, kind of binding you into something that doesn't feel so good? There is something here in this nodal axis that is asking you to take a look at how you relate to the community. How do you simplify your life? What do you need to release yourself from or organize different in your life so that you come back into your own power, and that there isn't power and control over you, forcing you into interacting and relating with people or groups or things like that you just really don't want to be doing anymore. So Aries rising could really be looking at those areas. And in Gemini season, the Sun and Mercury in Gemini is coming in and helping, probably, or could be helping to create tension in terms of, you know, having those things come into your mind. You could really be preoccupied with trying to figure out how to resolve the things that are keeping you sort of locked down, keeping you from creating a more comfortable and simple life, or have you feeling like you're not good enough even. this is a time where these things could really be coming up in your own mind for reconciliation and review, or they could be coming up by way of bringing people and situations back into your life that sort of hit those spots. And all of this is designed to help you reconcile the things that you've been going through lately. So Gemini energy can have us, our minds on fast forward, and it can make us feel like we want to get things done quicker and make moves. But with the Mercury in retrograde, it's asking us to sort of slow down. I mean, these things didn't come about overnight. They probably won't be resolved overnight, but the opportunity is there to break things down, look at the data. Gemini energy is about duality, so it's good to have the ability to look at both sides of something and, you know, gather all the data and really plan things out carefully. So, you know, there could be people involved, like I said, in that. Siblings and relatives, or, you know, teachers, things like that. You could also, with the Mercury retrograde, squaring your 11th house of groups and friends, you could have people coming back that you used to be friends with. And obviously there's a reason for that. Maybe there's something that is supposed to come back into play in your life now, so that you can, you know, you have another chance, or it's necessary for you to move forward with somebody in some way, or maybe it's time to resolve something that needs healing or needs to be, you know, put to bed in some way so that you can move forward. A lot of Aries energy, like I said in the beginning of the video, moved into your first house. We've got Venus in Aries. You've had Chiron in Aries. Many of you may be having your Chiron return, which is all about your primal wounding. It's the wound of the self. I did a video on Chiron last week, so take a look at that if you're not sure what Chiron is. But having Venus move in with Chiron in your first house could have actually softened the blows that you might have been feeling the last few years when you're bumping up against your own internal wounding. And, you know, in the first house, that is truly your wounding internally, and it sort of ripples out, or can ripple out, in how you show up in the world, obviously, but also how you interact in your interpersonal relationships, or even it can manifest in terms of things that you need to heal within your actual physical body. So Venus moving in there can actually, if the energy is used right, soften that up a little bit, and you know, kind of have you looking at, you know, what is my own self-value, and you might feel a little bit better about yourself and how you show up in the world, which would give you, you know, more encouragement, self-encouragement to actually, you know, address things and soften things up, and actually express what it is that you need from other people, or acknowledge what it is that you need to give yourself. Jupiter also moved into Aries this month as well, and that just kind of blows that energy up and gives us much more confidence to show up in a much bigger way when we are addressing our own needs, or trying to take care of ourselves. And that's what this energy is giving Aries Rising an opportunity to do. Now, of course, as an Aries, you know that if you're bumping up against wounding, or you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling pulled back or slowed down or tied down to something, that can cause some anger and aggression, along with anxiety. And if you really are at a place where you're like, I need to put myself first, and there are roadblocks, things that you have to take care of, ties that you might have to cut, or just boundaries that need to be set, and that's causing anxiety and aggression, then you probably want to be careful in balancing that out, because all of the extraplanetary energy coming into your first house in the sign, your sign of Aries, can actually increase that anger and aggression and impulsivity. So that would be something to watch out for. And if you're in a place where you're dealing with issues and people that might be creating those intense feelings, In astrology, the answer for that is to tap into the opposite energy, which for Aries is Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus. So it's great that that's there. Yes, it's an opposition, but it presents us with a choice, so we can tap into that. So Libra energy is all about balance and harmony and thinking about the other as well as ourself, no matter what situation that is in. So if you're feeling a little on the downside of that Aries energy, that would be a way to balance it out, is to use that Mercury retrograde to sit back and contemplate a little bit more, think about the other person, not give up, how you feel about it, whether your boundaries whatever you need to set right or do right for yourself, but to tap into coming up with a way to balance things out conversationally or otherwise, so that the situation resolves in the best way possible. We have Mars too, that's going to be moving into its home sign of Aries at the end of the month, May 28th, and that is just going to add more drive for Aries Rising to actually go out there and get what it wants. Mars represents our vitality, how we express and take action. This energy is really a good energy for going after a relationship and putting that together in the way that we want, having the confidence to do that. So good way to express that. Again, balance things out. We can be a little bit we can overcorrect or overdo things a little bit in our expressions with all of that Aries, definitely with Mars and Aries. But Mars in its home sign is going to be expressed very, very intensely. So that will be coming up at the end of May. Good time also to really start working on your body. Great time. Mars representing vitality and Aries strength, and so of course Aries Rising likes to be very physically active. So good place to channel energy. If you're feeling frustrations, channel that through your physical body. You could have something on your mind as well in terms of love or money, and it could be related to your career. You're going to have Pluto squaring energy in Aries, squaring Venus right now, so that could have you really focused on your value, your personal value, maybe in your career, in a commitment, or it could have you focused on a love interest even, and a commitment there. Just be really careful that that's not manifesting in terms of somebody trying to exert too much control over you, or there's some obsession there. Again, the idea there is to balance it out, but a square does create tension, so some kind of action is going to happen as a result. It's better to get ahead of that and realize what's going on, and again, sit back, contemplate, see things for what they really are, balance things out, so we can get favorable outcomes. So a lot going on for Aries Rising this month in Gemini season. A lot of opportunity for healing and conversation and thinking through things. Really gives us some clarity and the ability to slow down and plan carefully, have conversations carefully that will actually create what it is that we are trying to do or put in place for our lives in a much more simple way. And that is what we're all being asked to do, right? So that shows up in a lot of different ways, right? Looking at our resources, looking at what we owe, looking at how we make money, looking at how we feel about ourselves, overall simplifying things, coming back to our bodies, coming back to the basics, to create a life of ease, right? Because I think we're all looking for lives that are centered more in purpose and ease. So that's what's going on for Aries. I'd love to hear what has been happening, what happened during the eclipse, what is going on that you're dealing with. Have you had people come back to chat with you kind of out of the blue as a result of Mercury retrograde? Are you starting new workout routines? You know, are you doing some personal healing and feeling better about that? Or are you meeting with aggression and anxiety? Let me know. I'd love to hear. I will be back to do your July Cancer reading next month. In the meantime, may the stars forever be in your favor. And if you want to get your birth chart read, head over to my website, jovisstar.com. That's jovsstar.com. And send me a message over there, and we'll get you on the schedule. I'd love to read for you. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time.